What is up, guys? Welcome to the ThinkComputers Weekly Tech Podcast. This is episode 472, and our podcast is brought to you by Amazon. If you go to thinkcomputers.org/Amazon and happen to purchase something that helps us out and keeps the podcast ongoing, with me, of course, is my trusty co-host, Ryan. What's going on?
Trusty, even. Not much,
I need to fix my camera because I look so red.
You're almost like, I look so red. I look so red. I'm not this
I feel
red.
like I look like I'm dead right now.
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm dead because it
Like-
always makes me look so white.
Like, what is this? I don't know what's, and there's like, I have a light here and it's a white light. So I don't know what's going on with my camera, but
Maybe you're more red than you think, man.
I don't think I am though. I like haven't gone outside. I've been like doing so much content. I haven't gone outside. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I went outside today, but like just to go to the gym. I didn't like, go do anything fun.
Spend time in the sun. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on, man. But
Yeah.
in any case, we're back here another week to podcast. We have a lot to talk about. More Steam machine news,
Yep.
possible Half-Life 3. Ryan took a look at an AIO. I took a look at a motherboard in a first on that. We have a bunch of new cases that launched this week. Of course, it is like, I guess you would call it launch season for a lot of tech products because perfect time for the holiday season. And some other stuff we're going to be talking about here as well. So lots going on. If you guys did want to follow along, we have our full show notes page right here that has everything that we're going to be talking about. So if you want to reference it later, or you would just want information as you're listening right now, you can go ahead and do that really easily. But yeah, let's just jump right into this. And first time ever taking a look at a motherboard from Sapphire, and we know, of course, Sapphire is the number one the number one AIB for AMD graphics cards. We know them for graphics cards, but they have been making motherboards, but they just haven't been available in the United States. So they were available in Asia and other countries, but they were not available in the United States. With their B850 line, they've brought them all to the United States. So now you can buy them on Amazon, Newegg, all those places. So I took a look at their Nitro Plus B850A Wi-Fi 7. B850A motherboard, which is one of the more entry-level chipsets for AMD. And I actually kind of like this board, like the way that it looks, and especially if you would match it up with a Nitro Plus graphics card, I think it would look quite good. Sort of like black PCB, and then I would say silver and gray, dark gray accents, very much matches up with the Nitro Plus graphics cards quite well. It's designed pretty well. And yeah, I like the way this looks. I was actually surprised when I pulled it out because I wasn't sure what to expect. Again, being this is like a first motherboard here from Sapphire. And then for the power design, we have a 12+2+1 power phase design with 55 amp power stages for your CPU. So this should handle pretty much everything. As long as you're not doing any crazy overclocking, you'll be good there. And everything is designed quite nice. It's so interesting because you're never sure what to expect from manufacturers who haven't traditionally made motherboards.
Right.
But everything was laid out quite well on this board, and you have your dual 8-pin EPS connectors at the top. And as we go across the board here, it's pretty standard motherboard design layouts, nothing super crazy. The front panel USB-C is USB 3.2 Gen 2. It's not 2x2. There's actually no 2x2 on this board, and there's no USB 4. That's kind of the only thing I don't like about this. For your graphics and your storage, you are going to get Gen 5 support, so PCI Express 5.0. You're going to get that on your top graphics card slot right here. And then your top M.2, this one is going to be Gen 5, so both of those are Gen 5. And then your other two M.2, so you have a total of 3. Those are going to be Gen 4. They all are under heat sinks here, and then they have these little plastic pieces that allow you to toollessly install your M.2 drive. So I like that. There is no button to release your graphics card, although you can kind of see that this spot is pretty open unless you had some insanely massive CPU cooler, you should be able to get to this spot to release your graphics card. The only thing that I didn't like was that this, in order to get at your top M.2 slot, you will have, if you have a graphics card installed, you will have to remove it. A lot of board designs, they've actually moved this slot down and put that top M.2 like sort of right here, so you can access it without having to remove your graphics card. So that's the only thing design wise that I wasn't the biggest fan of. But as you can see, we have reinforced PCI Express, and on all of them, which you don't really see anymore. Like a lot of companies will do that top slot, and then the other slots you won't get it, but you get it on all the slots, which is just a nice thing, especially if you're like installing like a capture card or something else in there. It's just nice to have that extra protection. So definitely like that there as well. And then you can see on our rear IO, like I said, no USB 4, no USB 3 Gen 2 by 2. This Type C is USB 3.2 Gen 2, so only 1,000 megabytes a second on there. No optical audio either, which was a little bit disappointing. We have our Wi-Fi 7 connections, and they're the older style that you have to turn. They're not like the push-in ones that we've seen from Asus and Gigabyte. But we do get a BIOS flashback dedicated button, which is actually kind of nice to see. So pretty standard. And again, this is B850, so we're not going to get that top tier feature set either. And going through the review, if you guys want to look at all of the different tests and everything like that, it's going to be very similar to other AMD boards that we tested. But the one thing I was really surprised with was the BIOS. We have a full-on BIOS video. And I have to say, this is one of the better BIOSes out there currently.
Nice.
It is it's all graphical. So there's no big lists of things. There's really no necessarily advanced mode. I would say for a lot of people, this is going to be really great. But for the person that wants to drill down and have like the crazy amount of settings like you would get maybe in like an Asus BIOS, you're not going to get that. But this is very easy to understand and very easy to go through the menus. Check out the video. It is in the article and it's on our YouTube page, but it's quite a nice BIOS. And I was really, really surprised. So the biggest thing when it comes to BIOS is as long as they continue to keep it updated, it's going to remain good. So really, really liked the BIOS on this. And then when it comes down to it, like I said, you can go through and see all of our testing and everything like that. The biggest thing that I thought was missing on this board was any type of super fast connectivity via USB, whether that was USB 4 or USB 3.2 Gen 2x2. We at least typically see one of those connectors, whether it's the front panel connector or a Type C on the back. Didn't get any of that on this. You do get Wi-Fi 7, which is definitely nice, 2.5 gig LAN, which is also nice, but I would just like to have that super fast storage. And then again, the design of sort of where the M.2s are, if you needed to swap out these two top M.2s, you're going to have to remove your graphics card to do it, which is kind of a bummer. So those are the only things. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's pretty affordably priced. It's $189.99, so it's not crazy price or anything like that. And if you're looking to do maybe a mid-range AMD Ryzen build, this would be the perfect board for that. And for being my first time taking a look at a Sapphire motherboard, I liked it. There wasn't, I wasn't like incredibly disappointed or like, why doesn't this work this way? Like it's a pretty solid board overall, and it's priced right. So definitely go ahead and check that review out, and we'll move on to Ryan's review.
Share it here.
This guy's slow tonight.
I am, right? There we go. I usually pop it on there, and then it's like I do it too soon, and it comes in and
doesn't switch over.
I just figured I'd wait.
Yeah.
Okay, I have it shared.
Oh,
you're in control.
Oh yeah, how about that? There we go. Wait.
No.
There we go.
Hey.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so I took a look at the MSI MPG CoreLIQUID P13. So this is the first MSI all-in-one cooler I've looked at. Have you ever looked at an AIO from MSI?
Yeah, I think in a build.
Okay.
on a case review. I'll find it, but yeah.
Yeah, and so that was like, I opened up the review with like, hey, you know the MSI name, and you probably think of like motherboards and GPUs, but like they do just about everything. I think the only thing you can't get to do a full MSI build is a CPU and memory, right?
Yeah.
Everything else in a build from MSI could be MSI branded. So they've got you covered there. So that kind of brings us to, yes, they also do all-in-one coolers. And this is a 360 millimeter cooler with some pretty cool features. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. They give you, of course, packages with everything you need to install on current AMD and Intel systems. It is a digital manual, so keep that in mind. And I did actually have to reference the manual in one particular case because they're using a connector that I hadn't actually heard of, and I'm curious if you've ever seen or heard this connector. So once we get to it, we'll bring that up. So pretty standard overall cooler though, right? 360 millimeter, 27 millimeter thick radiator. Aluminum radiator there. You've got 3 120 millimeter fans attached to it, pre-attached, so that's always nice, right? They're daisy chained, so you've got nice compact, cable management, right? You don't have any.
And it's all done for you. So
it's all done for you, right?
You take it out and essentially mount it, which is nice.
Yeah, which is awesome, and that's becoming more and more popular with AIOs. But it's still like I'm still getting used to that. That one less step we've got to do. Not a crazy dense radiator. It's 20 fins per inch. So nothing too wild there. That's pretty standard. And then a pretty standard looking pump block combination here. But it's got this really cool like glossy glass dome that sits over.
Yeah, I got to see this at Computex, and I really liked the way that it looked. Especially when you're viewing it from like not straight on, like if you look like viewing it from the side, it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of like globe-ish, but it's not. It's like,
yeah, it's not like a bubble, like a big round. It's just like rounded edges and kind of a curved top to it.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's nice.
But it's nice. But one thing you'll notice here is there's no cables coming off of this pump housing, and I'll show that more later on. And that's because they have routed the PWM for the pump and the USB 2 cables through the mesh loom that covers the tubes. So you get a really clean pump area in your build, which is really nice. And so all those cables actually come out the end of the tubes that attach to the radiator. So you've got your cables from your fans for your PWM and your lighting on those. And then you've got your USB and PWM coming from the pump housing that all kind of comes out on the radiator side of things. So again, just a cleaner look once you've got it into your system. Here's another look at that domed top. Just kind of a really cool look there. Here's a shot from the side. We've got your standard like swiveling connectors on your pump housing, but those cables come right out of the body and up in. So you've got just a little bit of cabling there, but you really can't see it once it's installed. But it just helps keep things nice and clean. And then just like a really plain look to that pump housing all the way around, just that circular design. Another cool feature on here, like it's just kind of something you notice if you look at a lot of these, but there's no screws on the bottom of this cold plate. A lot of times you'll see like a set of screws going all the way around holding that on. They've kind of hidden that there. And it actually, MSI claims that it does a better job sealing up the unit by using the method that they use. So I just thought that was kind of neat. But really nice finish here. It's kind of a satin finish. Sometimes you'll see like a very mirrored finish on the bottom of these. Sometimes you'll see kind of this satin look. But the one thing I always hate seeing, no matter if it's glossy or satin, is any sort of machining work or like dings or scratches. And you'll get that. Like the last one we looked at actually had like, just didn't look great. This one, nice and clean. So I appreciate that quality assurance that these things kind of go through for that. I did want to talk also about those tubes just a bit. You can see it the most probably in this image. They're kind of short. They're shorter than I would have liked. And you can see it also on the install image, but they are super flexible. They're the most flexible tubes I've ever experienced in an AIO, which is awesome because sometimes you get these tubes that are super stiff. Yeah. And you're like, am I going to kink these things? And no, these were awesome. So I just wish they were a little bit longer. Other than that, though, they make installation and just moving this thing around so much, like it made taking pictures so much easier as well. That's like a selfish like, but for installing and getting them where you need them, they're awesome. I
Nice.
love them. Yeah, standard 120 millimeter ARGB fans. Now these are a 9-blade fan, and we've seen some other 9-blade fans on AIOs, but typically like a 7-blade is what you're going to put onto a radiator to get better static pressure. Typically a 9-blade is used for better airflow, but they've kind of called this a hybrid fan that they're using. And one nice thing is they are connected around the edges of those blades, so you're going to get all of that air pushing through the radiator as opposed to losing any of that off the edges of those blades, right? It's helpful to direct that air through the radiator. Standard rubber pads at the corners to keep any vibrations to a minimum. And like I mentioned, these are already attached at the factory, so just one less thing you've got to worry about on your install. Installing is really easy. You're going to just utilize a couple standoffs. You do have to take off the factory AMD brackets, but that's super easy. And then it just pops on. There's, again, hardware for AMD and Intel systems, and it uses a universal metal bracket, so you don't have to swap out a bracket on the pump housing like some other vendors necessitate. But then you can pop on this magnetically attached plastic shroud, so it kind of covers most of your mounting hardware, which I really like.
That's the one thing I really liked about it when they were showing it at Computex. It was like,
it's super
clean. It's like, because again, depending on what vendor, you have screws, you have other things. Right. It's like, it just,
I mean, a lot of them, they're going to end up looking like this, right?
Yeah.
You have all this mounting hardware, which doesn't look like terrible. Like, we're all used to seeing it. I mean, you see capacitors on the motherboard and other types of things, but yeah, this look is really cool. I like what they've done there.
Yeah.
So back to the cabling and a connector. They are using a JAF connector. So I don't know if that's pronounced JAF or what, but it's essentially a combination of PWM and 3-pin ARGB into a single plug, and it's pretty small. It's smaller than like a USB 2 header, but some of their motherboards actually have this port on there, so it's like an all-in-one combining PWM and RGB control into one cable, which I thought was kind of cool. But they do, of course, offer a adapter that splits out those two cable types if you don't have a motherboard that supports it. But I thought that was kind of a cool feature there if you've got a compatible motherboard. And as you can see here, like, this cable length is just a little shorter than I want. This cable on the left is just like, I don't know. I wish they were just a bit longer. It almost looks like it's pulled tight. It's not tight, but I just wish it had a little more length there to look a little different in there. Other than that, though, super easy install, very straightforward as far as that goes. Testing it, let's get over to our idle graphs. And I guess I'll summarize the performance, both idle and under load, as it's at the top of our temperature guides, and that's not a good thing. Like, lower is better in these situations, right? And for the most part, it was either tied with or second place with the warmest temperatures across all of our fan speeds that we test, and in both idle and load scenarios. So whether some of that's due to those fans being the 9-blade and focusing more on a little more silence and look, as opposed to using a 7-blade and getting a little more static pressure, don't know. But it didn't perform amazing. It's not like it's an outlier by any means. It's not like way above any of the others. It's still in the running, but just like not amazing performance here on that. Same thing kind of goes for the audio output. It was actually a pretty quiet unit, which is nice, right? So that hybrid fan really has focused on noise suppression, or at least that's what we've ended up with as the end result as far as performance goes, right? We've given away a bit of thermal performance for some lower noises coming out of this cooler. So if that's something you're looking for, hey, maybe this one's for you, right? It does also communicate with MSI's MSI control application to control the screen on here. So that screen is a 2.1 inch LCD, and it has a resolution of 480 by 480, but it is a circle design, so it's not like you're going to get a square, that full 480 by 480. And the software allows you to adjust just a couple options. You can set your hardware monitor, you can display a video, set the system clock, or even use it as an extended display. So it's kind of a cool feature, right? If you wanted to actually play a game on this little screen, you could. I mean, like, I wouldn't want to do that. But what I found like kind of disappointing were a few things with the software. One of them, you can't control like the pump speed or the fan speeds or anything like that with MSI Center. You're only adjusting what's shown on the screen. Everything else you're going to have to rely on either your motherboard that you've got this thing plugged into, or another lighting or fan controller. So you've got that, right? So it's not full control over the unit. And then the color schemes for all of these, CPU and system clock, it's only this like purple and magenta and kind of blue color scheme. You can't adjust any of the color, and they all look very similar. You can see it here on the screen. They're like none of them are that unique, which I just doesn't make sense to me. You can, like I said, show a video on there, and you can also point it to like YouTube or Bilibili and play a YouTube video, and it'll loop that YouTube video over and over, which is kind of cool. Or you can just play a local video, but you can't display like just a static JPEG or animated GIF here. It's like that's such a basic feature of these LCD equipped AIOs. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't know, missing the boat there. The extended display is kind of cool as well, but it's very limited. That's kind of your workaround for showing an image or animated GIF is like put it on the other screen. I just kind of go over that, and then here's some just quick images of like the screen and how it looks. It's a good looking LCD. I even had a picture. Yeah, like I had a YouTube video play in there, and like it looks really good,
Yeah.
The motion's nice and smooth, like everything looks good. And then here's an image of like the Windows desktop showing as a secondary display on there. So kind of cool there. All in all, though, it was like a confusing mix of components and performance. I wanted to really like it, but I ended up giving this a 7 out of 10. It's priced at $190. I mean, you're getting an LCD on the cooler. You're getting 3 ARGB fans. Performance, though, is like not amazing.
I would say this based on I read your review, and like based on that, I would be like, this is like a good like Ryzen 5 level cooler type thing, or like something you put in a build where you're not really going to be overclocking or something like that.
And like I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to do an all MSI build and use that MSI software to control some other components as well, like maybe that makes sense and you get that full MSI aesthetic, right? I just limited software control and lackluster performance was kind of how I summed it up. But you get that really cool, stealth cabling. It looks good. You've got the LCD. I don't know. I wanted more out of this thing, and unfortunately didn't get it. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, definitely check out Ryan's review. I'm kind of disappointed because, like I said, I saw it at Computex, and then I read your review, and I was like, man, it's like because like that the MPG line is like their more affordable line, because it goes MPG, then MAG.
Right.
Then maybe I don't know if there's something above that, but like the MPG case that I reviewed, that was like $100. It was like one of the best value cases I've ever. And they had a newer version of that case. They had their LCD screen that can go in the case, or you can put it, and it was like very affordable. Yeah. And I'm like a huge fan of like things that just work and are very affordable. So when I saw the cooler, I was like, oh, this is just gonna work and be And I wouldn't say it's affordable. That price might have to do with tariffs too. We have to
it's true.
Think about that, because we'll talk about another story that has.
And another thing too with that software is like it will run in your system tray, but the LCD screen isn't on. You have to like launch the application for it to show. So when you boot your machine,
some of those that are
the screen's just like black, and then if you lock it, it like goes black again. It's
the Thermaltake software is kind of like that sometimes too. It's like it kind of shows their default like temperature on there, and then when Windows loads, it goes into whatever you actually want it to do. It's the softwares are. It's just one of those things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, check out Ryan's review of that. we will move on here to Case Mod Friday, and we have a pretty unique build this week. This one is from Niklot, and this is his white colored coffee, which if you look at the color scheme of this, definitely has that sort of white colored coffee, I guess, sort of. Maybe the tubing. I don't know about the Noctua color is not
you gotta replace that fluid in here with like something brown colored so I can like colored of the tubing at least.
But this is done in the SSUPD X shuttle case with air cooling, but liquid cooling on the GPU. It was kind of interesting. And you see the Noctua cooler and all the Noctua fans. It gives it just like an interesting contrast. I really like this case too.
Yeah, I think these fans look so much better in an all white build, or even like they can even look good in like all black, but they look great in an all white build
because it makes them stand out more. Like
yes, when you start throwing in any other color, like a red highlight or a green or a blue or just RGB, then they look so out of place to me. This is perfect for them.
Yeah, I really, really like this. And like, it's so nice. And we've featured some lately that are like only water cooling one component, you know what I mean? And they've all looked really, really well. Cause like a lot of times, like you see just all air cooled or all water cooled. And now we're getting like a lot of these hybrid builds, and I kind of like it. And again, it goes with the theme, because you got to put the Noctua fans in there if you're doing a coffee themed build, right? I mean, you gotta, you know, so shout out to Niklot on this one. Great build. Check it out on the site if you are interested. And I did want to remind you guys that we are giving away a $100 gift card of your choice. So wherever I can buy you a gift card, I will. And this is worldwide, so it's open to anybody. We got 9 days left on this, 16,000 entries. Super easy to enter. Just make sure you're subscribed to our email newsletter, because I reference that back. So when I choose a winner, I'm going to put your email address into our email software. And if you're not in there, we'll go to the next person.
On to the next.
So, yeah. So, and if you are listening to the podcast and you want a couple more entries, because you can see there's 20 ways to enter, we do have a special code for podcast listeners. It's Pod Holiday 100, all capitals. It will ask you whenever you put your email in here for a special code for the podcast. This is the special code. Put that in. I believe it gives you 2 more entries into the contest. So definitely get it in. 9 more days left. And we got some contests rolling for December that we're already planning out. So definitely stay tuned for that there as well. And let's move on to news. And we got Steam Machine. We got some Valve news. We got all kinds of stuff. And did you see that Gabe took delivery of his 500 million, or was it 50 million? No,
his yacht.
His $500 million yacht. Somebody on Reddit was like, "Yeah, just announced 3 pieces of hardware, so everybody forgets that you're getting this like super mega yacht."
Yeah, hey, you know, he's earned it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's getting a cut of every game that's ever sold. Yeah. So, I didn't get to see any details on the yacht. Maybe he'll park, like a lot of like billionaires park their yachts in San Diego Bay.
Oh, right.
So maybe
it'll make its way down there sometime, huh?
Yeah, or something. Maybe, or like maybe like for TwitchCon.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, or something like that. That'd be cool. Yeah, I forget, some guy just had his there, and then Zuckerberg's his
down in San Diego.
Yeah, it's been down here as well, and some other people. So
that's cool.
But yeah, if his comes down, I'll make sure to go try to get pictures of it for the interwebs. But talking about that, so Steam Machine, we talked about it last week. Of course, that's going to be coming out in 2026, and there are going to be some like faceplates, so you're going to get some customization with this. And the one that I saw, and the one that's really looks super cool, is this one right here. So this is like a e-ink display that's displaying like your CPU and your GPU temperature, and maybe it looks like your fan speed here, but it's in e-ink.
I don't know what the like refresh on e-ink is, but I mean, don't expect this to be like super precise, timely.
No, but
graphic,
I do
but
think
it
it's
is
cool.
cool. I like it.
I do think it's cool, and I do think like, I mean, it does like just the cube is like super boring
Yeah,
by
but
itself.
these faceplates are gonna help. I saw
Yeah,
one that was
so
like a companion cube from
yeah,
Portal.
so well, first, like, you know, you have the
The wood
wood
one looks
one,
good.
and then
Yep.
you have this one here, and you maybe, I
TF2.
mean,
Yeah.
and then D brand, of course, D brand makes skins for like laptops and all
Yep.
kinds of stuff. They came out with
Red Hat.
this, which looks super, super cool. So I think we're gonna see some cool stuff with this. I do believe Steam Machine is going to be incredibly popular. Like, there's no way that I think it's going to come down to price, and we'll talk about that at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be like the thing, and I think this will solve the problem for a lot of maybe console gamers who want to get into the PC space. This is like the easy buy,
Get you
right?
there.
It's
Yeah.
the thing that they can just plug in and they're good to go, right? We talked about pre-builds last week, but like, that's still a little more complicated. I would say this is almost like a console, right? You just you just plug it in,
And I mean,
and the thing is, it's going to load. It springs Steam OS, so your gaming OS is on there. You don't have to download this launcher, that launcher, whatever. You know what I mean?
And depending on where you like install this, right? If you put it on your desk here, right, your peripheral of choice could be keyboard and mouse, but you can also have a controller off to the side. If you put it in like your living room, then it almost turns into just a console, right? Because there have been attempts to add keyboard and mouse to the, you know, family room, but it's always like a little clunky using a keyboard and mouse that far away. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I reviewed some of those like things where they like has a long ass USB cable.
Yeah,
you know, yeah, I remember that. And Valve is saying that the Steam Machine will outperform 70% of existing PCs. Now, are we just in the minority of enthusiasts who have like newer graphics cards, really, you know, at least 64 gigabytes of memory? Like, because I mean, again, this is only going to have 8 gigabytes of VRAM.
Yeah.
16 gigabytes of RAM.
They own all the data for
that's what they were saying.
Hardware survey, right? They know what's out there.
They said they based the specs on this on the Steam hardware survey. So if this spec that they're speccing out is outperforming 70% of what's on Steam, I mean,
yeah, that's a huge user base that would be perfectly happy with this type of performance, right?
Yeah.
And they, you know, that they have so much more, so many more metrics and so much more data than they actually share with the public on
that too,
survey,
and
right?
I think
they know so much more related.
I think this is going to be a good 1080p box. That's my
yeah.
That's my assumption. I think maybe
4K,
maybe with FSR 4, you're going to get, but like again, in all honesty too, like 4K gaming is pretty, even on like a 5080 is still like, you know, unless you're using an upscale tech, like it's still not going to be great if you're just using raw performance there. So, so yeah, I think it's been a good 1080p box. It's kind of interesting that they say that, you know, but like you said, they own the data, so pretty interesting. And we'll see, obviously, in I guess in January. Maybe we'll see some at
that'd be cool
at CES. You know, but talking about all this, you know, the 3 hardware announcements: the Steam Machine, the frame, and the controller. That's like a lot of announcements, and everybody's like, where is Steam Deck 2? It's still one of the most popular gaming, you know, handheld consoles. It's been out for quite a long time, and Valve says they want at least a 50% performance uplift before releasing Steam Deck 2. And I like this because we've seen with these gaming handhelds, it's like every year, like you know, with like the ROG Ally, it's like we get a new one every year, and it's like the upgrade's like a better battery and like, you know, like a little bit more storage, or like just a little, like 10%. I mean, we even get that with CPUs now. It's like the refresh is like 100 megahertz better.
Well, yeah, it's just like cell phones and like you said, anything else. Like there's a new one every year, and like you don't necessarily need that next refresh. I think.
Do you think it's because Valve has all the money? Because they're not just a hardware company, obviously, right? So they don't need to put one out every year. And I think if they do it this way, they allow these to have a longer shelf life too. I mean, there's people who are still buying Steam Decks now.
Right. Knowing that a successor will come out at some point, most likely.
Yeah.
So
I would say, when do you say the Steam Deck 2 comes out? I would say a year from now.
That feels a bit early to me, but then I think of how long it has been out.
Yeah. I think for holiday season.
For holiday next year.
Yeah. And that leads us in, especially for holiday next year, because this game that we've been wanting to come out for, I think 27 years may finally come out.
27 years.
So I think it's been that long. Or no, there was, what was it? I saw the other day, like Half-Life came out 27 years ago, I think. So all of these people who are like looking at things, and they're, we've for
data miners,
but we've talked about this on this podcast multiple times. Like, when is Half-Life 3 coming out? Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 1, but especially Half-Life 2 was like a masterpiece of a game. One of the best single player games you could ever play. The story was so good. Even like the set, like the audio, like when you were going through different like it was just a masterpiece of a game. And forever we've wanted Half-Life 3. And with the announcement of the hardware, all the new hardware, this page comes up under their upcoming releases. And you see that there's their Deadlock games coming out. So that's 1, Steam Controller 2, Steam Frame 3, Steam Machine 4. So there's four new upcoming releases. But why does it say 5 with 2 games? And there's only 1 game, but it says 2 games.
And 3 hardware.
What's going on here? So are we getting a Half-Life 3? I mean, I think that would set the tone. You buy a Steam machine, you get Half-Life 3 for free.
Or they make it it only runs on like Steam Frame.
That wouldn't work, because anybody who's running Steam OS could run it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay, fine.
But I think it would be cool to get
comes with it. Sure.
Comes with it. And I think, and again, we'll talk about price at the end of the podcast, but if you have that as your, again, when it comes to like graphics cards, like, oh, what's the bundle from AMD? What's the bundle? Maybe that's the bundle. Or maybe you get all of them. You get all of them. You get all of Half-Life, so you can play the first one, the second one, and the third one. Yeah. With the Steam machine. I might have to buy one
or they should make one it's the orange box and it comes with it, right? So it's a custom orange.
That's how that's what was cool about consoles, was like, again, when we had like PlayStation versus Xbox, it was like the Halo Xbox was coming out, and like the green one, and that's the one you wanted, that came with Halo 2, and like that's why you bought it. Or like, what,
I've got a Fortnite Xbox.
Yeah, so it's just like, that's why you got it, And again, that was the value add, right? So like when you were buying a console, it always came with 1 game, right? And it was typically that AAA title that was like the console exclusive. So yeah, the orange box. That would be good.
Would be cool.
Steam Machine Orange Box Edition that comes with the game. Yep. Maybe it comes with the controller too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Excited.
That would be cool. I don't know when these are going to come out, but there hasn't been any leaks on the game, and you think that stuff would maybe possibly leak, unless they're keeping it down. I mean, they kept we heard about the Steam Frame. I don't know. Man. I just I get so excited, and then I'm like,
it could be totally false.
Yeah, because when we heard rumors maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was excited, then like nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
And we got Half-Life Alex, which is like, I don't know.
I played it for like 5-10 minutes. And
yeah, so it's just like, I don't know. But that would be really cool. And we'll have to see what happens. Now, talking about gaming, I saw this really cool controller on Kickstarter. And this is the Absolute, or how do you even say that? How do you say this? Abby,
yeah, I think Absolute.
Absolute M4.
Yeah.
So this is a MagSafe controller that has I have a picture over here. It goes, has this MagSafe ring on it. So it would attach to your phone if it's MagSafe compatible, and essentially is a controller. And I really like this design because like the backbone and some of the other ones are just like big and clunky, and essentially turns your phone into like a like a ROG Ally. Like it turns it into that form factor, right? And like for the retro gaming and stuff like that, like you want to just like a little controller, right? Yeah. And I think that this is pretty awesome, right?
It's compact. Yeah,
it's compact. And it's affordable too. $39 early bird on Kickstarter, and then $50 after.
Yeah, that seems really good.
Yeah, so
now, like they're showing a game there, and like I don't know if that's an emulated. Actually, it looks like a Kirby.
Yeah, it is Kirby
type of game. And I don't like play enough games on my phone to know whether that's like, can you play a Kirby game just like normally on your phone? And because that a controller and phone games to me doesn't like add up in my experience. But I'm not a big phone gamer anyways. I'm always like, I'm playing stuff that requires, you're touching the screen, right?
Yeah, there's a big emulation scene when it comes to phones, and a lot of it is like you can play all the games,
all the old stuff. Yeah,
all the old stuff. And
so
all
then,
stuff.
a controller like this makes
and a lot of that stuff's like, what do they call that when like the thing runs out?
Oh, Creative Commons or not
like
Creative Commons,
the license runs out or whatever it is. So like I think Internet Archive has like a massive section of emulators. Yeah. So like
public domain.
Yeah, it's all public domain now. So like you can get a lot of this stuff. But I just like this for like a cool little controller here. So we have the link to the Kickstarter if you want to check it out, but I think it's pretty cool. And then moving on from that, we finally have all black new Noctua NH-D15 G2 coolers, and their new fans are now in black. I don't know why they waited so long, but new Chromax CPU cooler, and then the new fans as well. If you wanted to do all black and you hate the Noctua colors, this is a massive CPU cooler, by the way. We reviewed the normal one, and it's huge. It's also expensive, and with tariffs, it's going to be really expensive. So
those fans are expensive too. Like,
yeah, $189 with tariffs right now.
Good God.
That's just,
I mean, it's high performing, but that's so much for just an air cooler.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say just an air cooler.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best air coolers. The performance is great. The new fans are definitely super, super nice. It's just we got to figure out these tariffs, and it's changing all the time. This thing I don't like, but yeah, would you do this or would you do the normal Noctua color?
This.
Okay. It does look, when you have like everything is all black with the black matching, it does look nice.
Yep.
It does look really, really nice. So yeah, so new stuff there from Noctua. And then we have a bunch of new cases. So this one I saw at Computex. This is the InWin D Lite.
Not impressed.
This is the Dubili Lite, and the Dubili I really like because it had sort of like an industrial look. This is like the more affordable version. It's an ATX case. You can get it in the gold or the silver. It's smaller than the original Dubili, as you can see. So yeah, it's just going to be like a more affordable case, right? You can kind of see what a build would look like in there. So yeah, do we have pricing on this?
I don't know what it is that I don't like about it, because I'm usually, for the most part, a fan of InWin cases. I think we got spoiled for a few years with like the 900 series of cases, right? There was like the 905, the 915, the 925, the 928. Like those were all just amazing cases, and we haven't had one that lives up to those for a while. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this, like I said, this is made to be an affordable case. It's going to be around 100 bucks US.
Yeah.
So again, not expensive. I do like this gold color though, and I got to see the gold color in person. It does look really, really nice. I think if you wanted to do a nicer build, get the original Dubilly, which has a much more, it's just bigger case in a more industrial design. It just looks better in my opinion. So that's the new one from Inwin. And then we have Silverstone. Maybe you might like this one, Ryan. So you've been wanting to, you want to do
last two that I'm most excited about.
You've been wanting to do a micro ATX. This is micro ATX.
No.
So Silverstone has been on the kick with their nostalgic retro style cases that are new. So now they had the FLP01, FLP02. Now they have the FLP03, which is this one right here. Comes with the old school key, has the turbo button and everything, and like what was this thing here? Like
I had one that showed like it was either showing 33 or you could like get it to show 66 for the speed.
Yeah,
at least what mine was.
Yeah, so it has that, and we can kind of see the inside of it here. So like internally, it is very modern minus the front ports here, or the front mounts, but GPU support bracket. It's going to be this beige color. I think Silverstone has something, because I think there is a select amount of people that, yes, you can go buy a retro case, like an older case, but like internally, it's just so hard to work with.
Yeah.
You got to Dremel the shit out of it, and like you have to. It's just not great to work in. The airflow is not good either. So having something that looks like these, but it's modern, I'm definitely a fan of that.
I know there's a community there and a customer base. I just don't know how big it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's massive, but I mean, this is their third one, so they have to be selling decently.
It's true. Yeah.
So no word on pricing on this, but yeah, pretty cool. And this one's micro ATX. It's not full ATX on there. So the FLP02 is the ATX one. So yeah, pretty cool. There from Silverstone. And then we have Antec has their new Flux M. So this is the one you're excited about because it's micro ATX.
Yeah. So I saw the next story first, and then I saw this one. And I'm more interested in this one, I think.
Okay. So this is a micro ATX case, Flux M from Antec, and what would you call this? This is like the mini tower kind of look, right? And great airflow on this too, because you're going to have the mesh front. You're not having glass front. Does it support a 360 in the top?
It does.
Yeah, it supports a 360 rad in the top, which is nice. They show the picture here with a large ROG Strix card, so definitely can fit large graphics cards in there. I like this. So micro ATX. Why do you want to do micro ATX?
I want a smaller build, but I don't want a mini ITX because of all the just potential heat issues, and like you actually get some price increases by going smaller in size, right? On some things. So this size is like perfect for me. You've got your GPU slot and then like an extra one or two if you want to expand. And the only thing that stinks is there's not a ton of motherboards and the build I saw in the next case was using a BTF connector motherboard, and it was like super clean. There's not a lot of motherboards out there that are BTF, especially on the AMD platform. And so I don't know. I go back and forth, but I am very interested in this. I wish
another thing that's nice about going micro ATX is that your graphics card does have more room too. So like you can fit the fans under it, as they show here, which is kind of nice.
Yep.
So you get better cooling that way.
I want this case, but with the M1 like treatment from Antec. That was that little aluminum one.
Yeah.
That had like the red interior. I want that same build quality and like look, but with this form factor and size. Like that'd be 100% buy from me day one.
Gotcha. Well, the last one is also, we're getting a bunch of micro ATX
And these
cases.
are almost identical cases. There's a few
They're
differences, but they're very similar.
They're very similar. So this is the Game DS Athena M4M. You can see the two variants, one with the wood, one without. Mesh in the front, and very much the same, as you can see. So yeah, like I said, they're like that little mini tower.
Yeah.
This one supports 360 in the top and the 360 in the bottom.
And 240 up front. Yeah, so the Antec just says that they do 360 up top and 120 in the back. This one I think is a little taller and has support for the radiator in the bottom. And you could probably do a radiator in the Antec as well. It just depends on what GPU you're putting in there and what you do with those front fans. But yeah, I saw this one first and was like, oh, this could be an option for me for yeah, because a lot of the little smaller cases, like they'll have a solid front, and so no ventilation and fans up front.
Yeah,
this one is sized where they've done it right. And a lot of times I don't like how they do the power supply shrouds or lack of a shroud. Like the power supply is just kind of sitting there in the front. I think both the Antec and this case have done a good job of integrating that shroud and it not looking so obvious.
Yeah, the shroud right here. Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, I like the potential for both of these cases.
Nice. Yeah, I think, like I said, yeah, like micro ATX doesn't get enough love. I feel people either want a big build, like a full ATX build, or they want super small. In the middle, there's not a lot of motherboards, like you said, and the case offerings are kind of there, but they're like sort of like really designed for mini ITX, but like they do support micro ATX. Like it's not. So yeah. So that's the news for the week, guys. Lots of stuff this week. Lots to talk about. Coming up next week, I'm taking a look at the EpoMaker RT85, which, well, I don't want to try my luck here. Let's see.
Gotta click the X.
There we go. So I have the green one. Where's it? I have no pictures of the green one. Well, the green one's right. It's plugged in, but it's right here. But this is a mechanical keyboard from EpoMaker. It's actually quite nice, and it's very comfortable and has a good sound profile so far. So, and we'll be playing some games tonight, so I can test it out a little bit as well. So, I'll be taking a look at that, and very affordable, $73 right now. So I'll be
Speaking of games, did you determine whether your issue is solved by what you think?
I mean, I unplugged my Thunderbolt from this computer and everything works now.
Okay. Because Bob's been having some issues with staying in games lately, and he thinks he narrowed it down to his Thunderbolt dock. Yeah, so I unplugged the Thunderbolt dock, and I haven't had any of the issues that I was having previously. Okay. So I think my guesstimation is that the Thunderbolt is going somehow through is messing with some of the lanes, and it's messing everything else up. Yeah, that's my assumption. And that brings us to the question of the week. And since we were talking about Steam Machine, what do you think the cost is going to be? Like, how much do you think it's going to be? Last week, I feel like we talked about it a little, and I was not feeling great about how expensive I thought this thing was going to be. I mean, like, I was expecting over $1,000. And then especially when we saw like it's going to play as well as, 70% of the, games out or gaming PCs out there. I don't think they can do that and be successful. I think it's got to be priced closer to consoles. So now I'm leaning towards like the $500 to $600 range. That seems so low though for what you're getting,
especially with like if you think cost of like memory right now, and you think of like tariff, and I think if they already have these and they're available, like they have them and they haven't paid the cost for the tariff at launch, I'm thinking $799, and then the price will probably go up from there. Right,
get an early bird discount.
Yeah, that's a conservative. I would say as we go into next year, I mean, it could be $999.
Yeah. I just like if you would have asked me last week, I was more closer to like the $1,200, $1,500 range. But then I thought, like that feels too much. And then the more I've been reading and like like consumer adoption of this thing, like I feel like they've got to be cheaper.
Yeah, a
$600
lot
is
of people. I
probably too
mean,
low,
people are
but
going crazy over this. I don't, as somebody who owns a PC, like I don't understand, but
yeah, you got one, so you don't,
yeah. So, but yeah, we'll see the price. I think that's like that. I mean, that's the. I couldn't imagine it being like $499. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, they couldn't keep them in stock.
Yeah, they would be gone instantly. So, yeah, I think on the conservative side, $799, but more than likely $999.
Okay,
that's my guess. So we'll see. We'll see next year when that comes out. We'll see kind of what happens there. We will be gaming tonight, and hopefully, like I said, my PC is good, and I'll be able to game. If not, I still have the cyber powered PC over here that can also play, but I prefer not to play over there because the monitor's 30 hertz and it's not good for gaming. But we are going to be doing that over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/ThinkComputers. Head on over there and you can continue to hang out with us. Like I said, we'll be doing some Battlefield, which has been so much fun lately. So definitely hang out with us over there if you want to continue to hang out. And of course, thanks for everybody in the live chat. And thanks for all you guys who listen later. And we will see everybody next week.